Instant Mood Improver is recorded on Bunurong country. I pay my respects to local elders past, present and emerging and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded and this always was and always will be Aboriginal land. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to any mob who may be listening today.
Put a pep in your step, turn your frown upside down, make it more fun to be around. Instant Mood Improver, Instant Mood Improver, Instant Mood Improver. The songs that make you feel happy again.
G'day everyone, thanks for tuning in to Instant Mood Improver, a happy music podcast. I'm your host, freelance music journalist, content creator, and vocalist for Catholic Guilt, Brenton Harris. Each week on Instant Mood Improver, I speak to a guest about a song that instantly improves their mood the moment they hear it, using that as a leaping off point for a broader discussion about the role music plays in our overall happiness. Today's guest is Jason Brown, frontman for Aussie metal icons Sunk Loto. Jason and I caught up ahead of the band's recent 20th anniversary tour for their celebrated second full-length, Between Birth and Death, and had ourselves a hell of a time talking about his instant mood improver, Cowboys From Hell by Pantera. We also spent some time exploring the instant mood improving quality of Sunk Loto's own Everything Everyway, and discussed their crushing new single, The Gallows Wait, which is their first new music in over 20 years. G'day everyone, welcome to another episode of Instant Mood Improver, a happy music podcast, the podcast where we speak to people about the songs that put a pep in their step, turn their frown upside down, and make this miserable existence a little bit more bearable, if only for 3 minutes. Today's guest is none other than the vocalist for the recently reunited Gold Coast band, Sunk Loto, Mr. Jason Brown. How are you?
Great, man. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Now, Instant Mood Improver, if you didn't catch it on the intro, is a podcast all about music that makes people happy. Now, that music does not have to be happy music. It's just be music that makes people happy and the role happiness plays in people's lives as it associates with music. Now, what song instantly improves your mood, Jason?
Well, I'm glad you said it doesn't have to be traditionally happy up music because I play in a metal band and I love metal music. So I'm going to go with a song that sort of introduced me to like power metal and that sort of like the next level of metal is Cowboys From Hell by Pantera. It's just the ultimate party track, party metal, and it just makes me want to chug a beer and hug a mate.
I was wondering how long it would take for someone to choose a Pantera track.
It's obvious to me, man. I mean, Cowboys From Hell, that whole record is just party metal. It's gonna make you feel like having a good time.
Absolutely. So do you remember the first time you heard the track, did it instantly make you feel joy and happiness?
Oh yeah, man, definitely. It made me just feel like headbanging and like I don't know, I would have been so young, like sort of 14, 15 when I was introduced to Pantera. But yeah, it's just got a big vibe. I don't think it's got like that dark like metal vibe, Cowboys From Hell, especially that song. It's got that pump and riff that sort of just, yeah, it just makes you want to party. Look at the front cover, like they're all sculling whiskey and beer in a bar. So it's like, this is a fun album.
Now, it's a great answer to the question, I think, because it's pretty hard not to listen to, as you've said, that riff, that groove, that the stomp that it has, and not instantly feel alive, like you're going out to party. Has this soundtracked parties that you've had in your life?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Too many. Like, I'm going to party to it when we catch up next time in Brisbane with the band. That's going to be the party song backstage for sure. Drink a beer and yeah, dude, it's definitely the vibe.
That's awesome. Now, I'm sort of curious what role music plays in your happiness as a human. How is it an integral part of your mental health and well-being?
Absolutely. I think especially in light of, personally, definitely, it's a personal thing that can pull you through tough times. And even like, I would say like for me, it's not so much the like happier styles of music. It's more heavy stuff that has emotion. It definitely, you can reflect and you can feel those feelings and it pulls you through tough times. Like a lot of people say that about our stuff, especially Between Birth and Death. So many people say that album helped them through a lot. Yeah, it's definitely a huge thing. And I think, even in like the world's pretty fucking dark right now, unfortunately. And I think music is just a beacon of light. I feel like no matter how bad times could get in this world, music will always bring us together. And sort of, I feel like everything could almost go bad, but as long as we got music and each other, I think things will be okay.
You sort of preempted a question in that answer, and that was, do people tell you that your music instantly improves their moods?
Yep. Yeah, man. Like, it's our fans are very passionate. I think that goes for a lot of metal fans. I've had this conversation with someone a couple of days ago, but metal fans are just like, once they're into your band and they're passionate, I feel like they're rusted on for life most of the time. And that's been evident in people that have followed us. We stopped for 15 plus years. That album's 20 years old and they're still coming back and stronger than ever, I believe. Like, I never remember our fans being that passionate back in the day. They're more passionate now. And like, every time we play a show, I'll talk to people after the gig or before the gig about what our music has done for them. And it never gets old hearing that stuff. It just makes me want to keep doing it for myself and for others. And like I say, man, music just binds us together and it just helps everything, I believe.
I think you find that most people that are musicians anyway, or music fans, would agree with you. Now, the fact that you said that the metal community particularly seems to gravitate towards these emotions, these investments, the concept that, other people working through their stuff through this aggressive music can help you work through your stuff. That's something that came up in another conversation I have for this podcast with the singer and guitarist from the UK metal band Svelbard. She was saying very similar things. Serena was saying very similar things. And I wonder if this is going to become a recurring conversation on this podcast, is the role that heavy music plays in enabling other people to work through their shit.
Yeah, because I think it's like just this unfiltered style of music that, when we're going through tough times, it's not very pretty. It's not like a nice pop song. It's like, it's ugly. And I just think like heavy music doesn't hold anything back in the way of emotion and anger and like all those other emotions we feel. Yeah, I just think for me that is what I've noticed, is just fans of heavy music. And there's just such a community around it. Like, I just feel like it's just such a good family of people, like I just get that vibe at our shows that like we're all just family, we're all connected by music, and we're, especially the heavy vibe, just there's something about it that really is strong. The emotions at our shows are always like super amplified and strong. So I think that, I don't want to say only heavy music does that, but, I'm sure other music does that for people as well.
You can only speak to your own experience, man. Anything else, you're just forecasting.
I'm being biased because I play heavy music, so that's...
Yeah. So what song in Sunk Loto's repertoire does that for you? Like, is there a song that you perform that you feel like it's helping you work through things still to this day?
Yep. Yeah, good question. A lot of them, man. Like, they all, I did like a track by track sort of talk through the other day in an interview, and it really made me realize lyrically that they're all super, super important. And I made that point with that album, lyrically and vocally, to make each song as pointed and sort of like, venomous as I could. Because in that record I went through a lot of shit. Like, my parents split up and I lost 2 friends, and like the Iraq war was happening, and just all that sort of stuff was going on at that time. So it's hard to say, like, probably different times, like I would feel something different. Like, yeah, even Public Imagery right now, that song was written about the invasion of Iraq, so it sort of brings up a lot with what's happening in Israel and Palestine right now. I'm definitely feeling that one.
Yeah, it is interesting how this stuff is cyclical, unfortunately. As human beings, we seem to always find ourselves back in the same dark places. And as you said, as long as we have music, perhaps that's the path to healing, at least for our community.
Yeah, exactly. Like Everything Everyway is another song that like there's a huge emotional connection with that, and it always feels super powerful live. People just, I know a lot of our fans have used that as a song that they walk down the aisle to get married, and it's a very personal song to me, and I think you can see it live, like everyone's just singing it, and yeah, it's also therapeutic, that song. It just means a lot. It's very heartfelt, I think.
I can tell you that someone who lives in this very house has a soft spot for that song. Before letting you go, I must mention the reason we have you on the podcast is, of course, because you have a new song out called The Gallows Wait, and you are going out on tour to play Between Birth and Death in full, plus play The Gallows Wait. So how's all that going for you so far?
Awesome, man. Yeah, playing the whole record start to finish has been a great experience, actually. I was sort of not dreading doing that, but felt like it was like, well, we're locked into this thing now. Like we can't change songs in the set and put different songs we want, but it's actually been so good. I think the fans are just loving it. And then, yeah, like the response to the Gallows Wait live has been blown us away, seeing it's only been out for a month. I don't know. Like the crowd just cuts sick when we play that song.
That's awesome. Now, of course, nostalgia tours are all the rage at the moment. So why shouldn't Australia have our own, hey?
Exactly. But hey, we're not, I mean, maybe this part is nostalgic for a lot of people, and I totally get that. But, you know, our plan is to keep moving on far into the future.
That is brilliant to hear for fans. And of course, a big part of you moving on into the future is the addition of Rose Stevenson from Built the Sky to your band. I assume you're already writing new songs with Ro. How are they sounding so far?
Incredible. We've got another song that we recorded in the same session as The Gallows Wait. It's coming out next year, early next year. We're going to drop that with a clip. And yeah, we're currently working on a new record at the moment. A lot of ideas sort of getting put together, and there'll be more tracks being released next year. Hopefully the album can be out sort of towards the end of next year, maybe the year after, but it's happening.
And the last time I spoke to you, I actually was annoying you about a potential vinyl release of the record. Is that any closer to being a reality?
Yeah, man. Between Birth and Death is printed, pressed, and ready to go on vinyl. Double vinyl, gatefold. It's coming in like a whole bunch of different color ranges. I believe you can pre-order it now off our socials, but I think it will be available to purchase at our shows too, starting from the Tivoli next Saturday. So hopefully, yeah, we can sell that record to our fans and come and sign a few copies too.
That'd be brilliant. Well, it's been an absolute blast talking to you as usual, or I should say an absolute blast beat. And I thank you for coming on the podcast and sharing some of your experiences of music that improves your mood, Jason.
Thank you so much, man. Thanks for having me.
No worries. That brings to a close this episode of Instant Mood Improver, a happy music podcast. A massive shout out to Jason from Sunk Loto for appearing on the pod today. If you enjoyed our discussion, I'd appreciate it if you left a positive review or gave me a follow on Spotify and YouTube, Facebook and Instagram. I'll leave you now with the sounds of Jason's Instant Mood Improver, Pantera's mighty Cowboys From Hell, followed by Sunk Loto's new single, The Gallows Wait. And of course, their own Instant Mood Improver, Everything Everyway.